Bill DeDominicis of New Hartford, Connecticut, has owned his 1962 Chevrolet Corvette since 1978. Over 45 years, he's accumulated some memories.
Way back when we first got the thing, we just had to go for a ride. We would go to a car show with my wife, with my daughter sitting on her lap, and my son sitting on a cushion in between the seats. And it drew a big laugh every time we pulled into the car show saying, wow, that's quite a family car you have there. Of course, right now you'd probably get arrested and have the car impounded for that. But
a lifelong Chevy man, DeDominicis bought it in nearby Burlington after his wife Sue spotted it in a newspaper classified.
We went up to look at it. It needed work, but it was priced accordingly, seeing it needed work. We struck a deal. I drove it home that night. It was running rough, didn't have any taillights, didn't have any brake lights, didn't have a registration. I said to my wife, stay close to me, don't let anybody get between us, and we drove it home.
Chevrolet brought out the Corvette in 1953, and the 1962 version was the final year of the C1 first generation.
First of all, I wanted the older style, the C1 series, and I wanted a 327. And this is the only year in the C series, the C1 series, that had a 327.
In 1963, Chevrolet introduced the second generation Corvette, the Stingray, with hidden headlights and other changes that differentiated it from the 1962 model, which DeDominicis prefers.
It's the last year the Corvette had a trunk. Once they went to a Stingray, they no longer had a trunk.
The Corvette is fun to drive.
To drive it is just a lot of fun. Does it make sense to own them? I don't know. When I'm driving them, yes, it makes a lot of sense to own it. It's an eye catcher. You get a lot of comments. You got a lot of thumbs up with it, and it's fun. They're nice to look at. They're fun to look at. You don't take them to a large parking lot because for some reason, no matter how far away you park, somebody likes to park right up next to you.
But the Corvette does have flaws.
Let's face it, it's a nice looking car, but the comfort was not designed in it at all. It rides like a Mack truck. It's got solid rear axle. So the suspension is just so stiff that if you drive any distance, you can't get out of the car. You know, an hour, hour and a half in it is fine, but anything more than that, you're sore, you're stiff. The heat from the exhaust comes up through the floor like there's no floor on it. When they built them, they were designed to go straight on a drag strip, so everything else wasn't important. Comfort wasn't built into them.
Paired with a 327 cubic inch V8 engine, the Corvette has a 4-speed manual transmission.
The fun of owning it is driving it. I drive it, my wife drives it, my daughter, my son have driven it. My son will find an excuse to take it every now and then.
And his Corvette is proven to be quite reliable.
One time we got stuck down on Route 8 in Waterbury. A wire had worn and shorted out. It was just a matter, luckily, it was funny, state cop stops. We were right there just before you get onto 84, and the state cop stops and he says, whatever you do, don't leave the car unattended. That was really, really comforting. But I fooled with it. I was lucky enough to see this sheared wire, put it together the best I could, and I got home with it. But that's the only time that we've been stuck on the road with it.
That's Ride Connecticut. I'm Bud Wilkinson. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to Ride Connecticut's YouTube channel.